Welcome to the What the Guru podcast for Sunday, August 18, 2024. Thank you for joining me. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest of what's going on in the lower 48 as well as tropical weather. Right now we're looking at a picture of Hurricane Ernesto, or Tropical Storm Ernesto, was downgraded this morning, tropical storm, as it pulls away from Bermuda here. It's about a couple hundred miles, maybe 200 miles northeast of Bermuda now. And they're out of the tropical storm warning conditions now. That's been discontinued for Bermuda. So it's been a long 24 to 36 hours for Bermuda. But they're out of the tropical storm warnings and watches now. Everything's discontinued and things are back to normal. Minimal damage reported. Power outages were around 70% of the island, but that's been restored. Most of the power has been restored to about 45% of the population, or 50% of the population, as we head into Sunday morning here. So that's great news. Highest wind gust at the airport and also on the western side there, the western island, it was around 89 to 90 miles an hour wind gusts. Sustained winds, they were around 50 to 70 miles an hour at times. The worst of it was from midnight to about 6 a.m. Last morning, and then that was it as it begins to pull away there. So back home, closer to home, we have just heat in the south, and some storms are going to be popping up. So coming along I-10 there, a rough ride from Mobile, has going to be excessive heat warnings. So Mobile, Biloxi, Gulfport, New Orleans, Alexandria, Baton Rouge, and on into Houston, Beaumont, Austin, up to I-35 corridor, 45 corridor, from Houston on up to College Station, Huntsville, Waco, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texarkana region, and on into Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and Little Rock, and down through the Central Plains there, the Mississippi Delta there. So it's going to be a hot day in those areas. Please be sure to hydrate, wear light clothing, and take it easy down there in the deep south there as well. Flood watches remain in effect for the Lehigh and the Lehigh Valley area, Delaware Valley area, Pennsylvania, and then the Maryland I-95 corridor from D.C. to Baltimore up through Trenton, New Jersey, and northern New Jersey. So be careful if you're in that area. Some elevated rivers and streaks and streams that, as a result of heavy rainfall they've had the last 2 days, could be a problem. Out west, we just have a brief red flag warning for central Nevada, coming up out of Las Vegas and Henderson and Sparks area, north of there in the deserts and the mountains areas, north to south. Be careful if you're running and doing the camping or hiking up there, as it will continue on as well. So there we have Ernesto. That's the only game in town, Tropical Storm Ernesto here, as it pulls away here. It's going to be affecting the Canadian Maritimes here, possibly scooting by Prince Edward Island here, possibly early Tuesday morning, but other than that, it shouldn't affect anything else. Just rough seas and a fishing storm for mariners here as it races off into the colder North Atlantic waters there. And in the Pacific, we do have other areas of interest in the Pacific there, and that will continue to monitor those as well. The one is given a 90% chance of development, but it is pulling away from the area, the Cabo San Lucas area. So in terms of severe weather, Storm Prediction Center has once again that deep south, the heating of the day, the instability, and that lift is going to cause some heating, some storms to form. So if you're in Jackson, across I-20 there, Jackson, Birmingham, Montgomery, Albany, Georgia, towards 75, Tifton, Macon, Savannah, Columbia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, up through North Carolina, Fayetteville, Lumberton, Wilmington, Raleigh, Durham, Wilson, Rocky Mount, coming up the 95 corridor through Petersburg, Richmond, and on up through D.C. and New York. D.C. and the Delmarva Peninsula. You have a marginal, slight risk of 2 out of 5 for seeing severe storms today, as a Storm Prediction Center, as outlined here in yellow. Now, other areas in green, that's a 1 out of 5, a marginal risk along the panhandle of Florida and up towards Atlanta, some of the southern suburbs of Atlanta, McDonough, Jonesboro, Fayetteville, coming down through 85 there in LaGrange, and then heading on up through the upstate of South Carolina and the Piedmont of North Carolina. So if you're in the Triad, High Point, Greensboro, Charlotte, you're in that 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe storms. And then heading up through the Shenandoah Valley there. So if you're coming along Charlottesville through 64 there, be careful. And on up through Hagerstown and Frederick, into the Central Highlands of Pennsylvania there, and then up through southern New York there, Hudson River Valley, Poughkeepsie, Binghamton, places like that. So you want to be careful, and that extends also into the plains. The next little zone here for 2 out of 5 is East Tulsa. So Tulsa, Broken Arrow along I-44, the Oklahoma Turnpike, back into Kansas, maybe if you're coming along that area, Topeka, south of Topeka, Wichita, Kansas, be very careful. There's a yellow zone there for severe storms. They're going to get going later on when the heating of the day happens. Low tornado risk, less than 2% in the Delmarva area, of course. And then we have a hail risk. It's a 5% chance of hail in these storms as well. And then, of course, in the shaded area here, we do have that hail, greatest threat of hail in the plains area. Of course, there the wind could be some straight line winds, or it could also be some of these discrete cells could throw off some microburst type winds or straight line winds in Kansas. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted there a greater than 15% chance in that kind of shaded region there for a chance of those straight line winds, or possibly a microburst or downburst, I should say, rather, coming down out of some of these thunderstorms there. So that's what we have going on right now. Thank you for joining me. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel, The Weather Guru. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next episode.